What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I decided that I am going to go live because I have to get this off my chest. I have to get this off my chest. Now, I don't have feedback in the microphone, so I don't know what I sound like. I'm pretty sure I sound good enough. However, Michelle Obama decided that she was going to, in an interview, that she was going to make the statement to say that she is included in the black people that are afraid of what police officers will do to their children when they leave the house, when they may get profiled when on campus, they may get profiled when they're walking down the street. Let me set the record straight real quick, because, and I say this to my wife and I say this all the time, either she's dumb or she's evil or both. There is nobody on planet Earth that has a connected brainstem that's genuine to any degree that will lie and say that their children are in fear of being profiled. Obama, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama are probably the most popular, well-known people in the world, the most recognizable children in the world. You can show a 3-year-old one of their children's faces and you'll be able to, they'll say, oh, that's Obama's daughter. That's how recognizable they are. And there's not police officers running around chasing little Pookie and them in Martha's Vineyard. So I don't know what area or place or planet that they are living on that they are walking around saying that they're afraid their children will be profiled by a police officer. What crack are these people smoking, or are they just blatantly evil? There is no way in the world that people of her stature should be pushing this foolery, should be pushing hatred in our country. I'm to my wits' end with black folks in prominent positions being so dumb. And yeah, I called her dumb because if she was a genuine person, she wouldn't be talking like this. How, as a black woman, you become the first lady and probably sold the most books out of anybody ever in history, selling a book, becoming an author, living in Martha's Vineyard. Somebody there probably was white, sold you a house. But somehow there's this implicit bias and systemic racism going on. Your husband was the president of the United States of America. The place that you claim is the most racist country on planet Earth provided an opportunity for your family to be in a legacy of the greatest country on planet Earth. I'm not understanding where the racism comes in. But instead of people like her and others like LeBron and all of these big time money making popular celebrities type people who happen to be of African descent, instead of them telling you, hey, this is how I made it out. This is how you go from nothing to something. This is what the America has afforded to me, or this is how I took advantage of the system. But unfortunately, these people don't have a vested interest in telling you how to make it. They want to tell her, yeah, you're going to be gunned down and how you should be afraid of the police at Martha's Vineyard in a gated community with a bunch of white people. So you're telling me white people are driving through a gated community and the family, I'm sure, is still protected by Secret Service. And if they're not, they have enough money to pay for bodyguards. So the cops are just scrolling through, hitting in the code to get in the gates at Martha's Vineyard, which probably has its own private security. They're in there looking for what Negro they can go pull over. Oh, let's go check on the Obamas. If you get sentenced to life in prison for George Floyd, fentanyl Floyd, then you dang sure finna go to jail or hell if you do something against the Obamas. It's all a lie and a propaganda stunt in order to keep y'all Negroes in chains. And to me, this doesn't affect white people as much as it affects black people. Most white people that I know are like, oh, whatever. I see the foolery of the Democrat Party. But there's a lot of black people that fall for this stuff. There's a lot of black people right now are saying, if Michelle Obama is worried about the safety of her daughter, and I live in the South Side Chicago, I live in the hood, I live in Watts, I live in South Dallas, I live in South Phoenix, I live in Cleveland. I mean, it's no way that my daughter can ever survive. It's a lie. These people are stacked, y'all. They got money. They have influence. There's no way in the world that Barack Obama would ever get a speeding ticket, ever. He could probably get a DUI and a police officer would probably let him off. If I was on duty, I'd throw the book at his head. But these people are lying to you. let me tell you how I know they're lying. I am an entrepreneur. I have made a lot of success for myself because I worked hard and because I put in the work, because I'm innovative. I believe in myself. I'm not nowhere near as rich as Barack Obama. I'm nowhere near as wealthy as any of these people that are out here, these Crump and all these other. I'm nowhere near at the status they are in bank accounts. And I know for a fact that I don't feel any kind of way. I don't feel like my life is in danger. I don't feel in any fear at all of police. Not one bit. And I don't even live in a gated community. I'm not afraid at all. I feel like this country has afforded a lot of great things to me. It has been really good to me. I don't experience racism. I don't see racism anywhere I go. And I am nowhere near as popular, successful, or wealthy as these people that get on TV every day and they're telling you should be afraid of law enforcement, and they're somehow having this black experience in America. They are lying. Don't believe the lie. And I felt that it was necessary to make this video, to make an unequivocal statement that Michelle Obama and all of these people are lying. There is no systemic racism in our country. There's no systemic racism. There's a systemic issue against laziness. It's systemically against laziness or people who don't want to do anything with their lives. But it's no racism, because if you work hard, you win. If you work hard, you win. If that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't have so many successful black people. You wouldn't have a black president ever in this country if it wasn't measured on how hard do you want to work? How far do you want to go? Who do you want to be in life? Ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. You go look that man in the mirror. You go look that woman in the mirror and say, you know what? How do I win? What decisions do I need to make? Put away this bull crap of that you're black, you got to work extra hard and all this stuff, and just focus on, I got to outwork the person that's in front of me, and I got to achieve what God has put before me. Is that you need to be worried about, are you better than you were yesterday? And are you working as hard as you can? Are you outworking your opponent? The person that's trying to have the same job that you have or that's in the same career field, and they're looking for a raise and you're looking for a raise. Nobody cares about your color if you're producing. And if you've done all you can do and you've produced all the wealth, all that you have, and you still didn't make it to the top, it's because God got something else different for you. And that wasn't your calling. And you don't have to worry about racism. It is a lie from the pit of hell. And I feel like because I got this town, I'm going to start preaching in a minute. It's a lie from the pit of hell. If you are in Christ, there ain't no such thing as white privilege. Ain't no man or woman or system on earth as we know it today will stop the plans and purpose that God has for your life. All you got to do is step up and do your part. And I know for a fact that there are people out here making excuses, and you know that you're not doing your part. You know that you ain't putting in the work. You know that you don't get up in the morning to work out like you should. How do you know this, Brandon? Because that's the thing that I want to work on, and I don't make excuses because I know I ain't got up and did it. There ain't no excuse for losing weight and getting in the best shape you can because you know you ain't waking up. These are the conversations I have with myself. So I know that people are out there making excuses. You got to do the work. Put in the work. You have time in a day. Everybody has 24 hours in one day. You don't somehow get cut off from your hours. And I'll tell you this, if you got to work and you don't sleep, then just don't sleep for a while and get your work in. There's been plenty of sleepless nights. Well, how do you have a successful online store, Brandon? Because there's many nights I didn't go to sleep because I was working on my store and I was doing research and building. Well, how did you become successful on YouTube? Because I made 2 or 3 videos a day for the last 2-3 years. That's how I became successful. You know how you became successful? Because I never say no to an opportunity. If somebody called me and say, Brandon, can you do this? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do it. Build my reputation of being somebody that's dependable. That's how you do it. One opportunity to the next. I do as best as I can in the situation that I'm in, and then I innovate from there. I believe in myself. I visualize success. I go and pick houses that I cannot afford at this present date. But one day I want to live in that house. And I put it up there. I put it on Zillow. I pin it. I look at it every day. I don't put a price number on nothing that I want because I don't know what God want to do for me. And I'm not going to put no limits on him. I look at private jet. I look to do whatever I want because I want to be an incredibly wealthy person that can give back millions of dollars to people. That's what I want. I innovate. I develop things because I believe in myself. It ain't got nothing to do with my race. It ain't got nothing to do with white people, black people, Obama. It ain't got nothing to do with Trump, nobody. I believe in myself. I put in the work. I'm not perfect. I grew up in school. I couldn't read good. I couldn't read good. Even now, I'm not the best reader in the world. I can't, I'm not the best orator. I don't speak proper English all the time. But you know what? I don't let that stop me and make an excuse. I get on here and I make videos and I do the best that I can. And some people, they may be turned off because I'm not perfect. That's fine with them. They can do whatever they want to do. Just because I wasn't a strong reader growing up doesn't mean I couldn't write my own book. I made it happen. Beating Black and Blue, my first book that I dreamed about 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, it's more than that. Probably now it's about 6 years ago. I said a long time ago I was going to write a book called Beating Black and Blue. I have another book that I said I was going to write too. I had 2 books. Beating Black and Blue is already going to publishing. So believe in yourself. Visualize. Put in the work. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. Don't let nobody hold you back because of the color of your skin, because you white, because you black, because you short, because you tall. Don't let nobody tell you can't do anything, because anything is possible with God. Anything. If your boy's sitting right here talking to you on a live stream YouTube video that 1.6 million subscribers, anything can happen. I was a police officer. And before I was a police officer, I never thought about being a police officer. I thought I was going to the NFL. Many people, I still think I should have played in the NFL. However, I do believe God had different plans for me. And the reason I'm making this video is because somebody somewhere need to hear what I'm saying. Somebody somewhere need to be revealed. It need to be revealed to them that these people are lying to you. That these people are living their best life. And they got you in fear that they don't really feel. There is no way in the world Michelle Obama is feeling fearful when they're protected by Secret Service. The most highly trained security force in the United States of America. They still have Secret Service protection. Every former president has protection for them and their family for the rest of their lives. They're not afraid of anything. They probably don't even drive. At least Michelle Obama and Barack probably don't drive. They probably have chauffeur. They probably go on private jets. They're not interacting with the public. You have never seen Barack Obama out in the public. I've never even seen people take pictures of Barack Obama doing regular stuff. You're not going to see him at the grocery store. You're not going to see him at the airport waiting in the TSA line. These people are not living a normal life. They're out of touch. See, I've been in the hood. We lived in middle class. We lived in upper class. I live in a wealthy area right now. And one day I'm going to live in the wealthiest area, potentially. I don't know. Depending on what God want to do. I believe he's going to bless me with that. But I've been in all of these environments. All black poor communities. All white poor communities when I patrolled. In the white community that was poor, the trailer parks. We lived in middle-class areas. I patrolled in middle-class areas. I never patrolled in wealthy areas like where I live at. However, I live here. I meet my neighbors. Nobody has problems with each other. They come over. I meet them. I talk to them. I talk to the lady over here. Her husband, he was going through chemo. Ma'am, whatever I can do to help, let me know. My neighbor's right over here. We met him in the backyard. Nobody has problems over here. Then people walk up and down the street. Every time I drive by, they wave at me. Hey, Mr. Tatum, what are y'all talking about? This is the whitest area ever. I haven't seen a black person in this area except me. But it doesn't matter because most people, if you're respectful, then people will like you. If you're riding down the street banging Lil Boosie, people's windows shattering at 1 o'clock in the morning, of course people are going to look at you crazy. They don't like you. If you're riding down the street with a raggedy car with hubcaps falling off of you because you don't take care of what God has blessed you with, yeah, people are going to look at you crazy. Yeah, people are going to prejudge you. Give them something to prejudge you about. Give them something positive to prejudge you about. You see how I'm dressed right now? If you want people to treat you different, dress like this. Even if you're a gang-banging thug. You want somebody to think about you differently? You want somebody to treat you differently? You want to go get a bank loan? Go put a tie and a suit and tie on like this and go up in the bank and ask them for money. Go to your job interview like this. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You can be the most hood dude on planet Earth. Go up in a job view and say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and put your suit and tie on. People will instantaneously think about you differently. Now, when I fly first class, my whole thing, when I fly, period, I dress up when I fly. I'll either wear hard shoes or I'll dress up. Now, lately, I've been changing it up a little bit because I've been flying first class. People fly me out to speak, I fly first class. And sometimes I've been dressing down because I fly these red-eye flights. Sometimes I want to dress down. I never dress like a hoodlum. I don't wear sweatpants, but I may put some jeans on, a t-shirt, and put a hoodie on, one of my merch hoodies. But when I fly, normally I wear a sports coat and I wear hard shoes. And when I'm in first class or I'm not in first class, people look at me and they probably think that I'm successful and that I'm a professional person. Versus when you get on the airplane with your drawers hanging out and you looking like a gangbanger. People are going to judge you. I don't understand where we got into a world where we think people can't judge you. They have every right to judge you. Give them something positive to judge you on. This don't cost much. This don't cost much. Instead of buying Jordans, you could probably buy you a suit tie combination for $200 something plus dollars. You don't need to buy extremely nice tie. I think I got this from Nordstrom's Rack or something. This tie was like $30. Now the shirt, this shirt may not be, where did I get this from? This shirt may be a little more expensive because I think I got this from Nordstrom. This is one of my nice shirts that I bought. This jacket right here was from Nordstrom's Rack. I think I paid like $170 for this sports jacket. So $170, $30, and you can get you a shirt that's cheaper than this for about $30. You can get a whole set in Nordstrom Rack for like $200. And then you can wear that same suit everywhere you go if you wanted to. And then you save your money up over the course of a year, you buy 2 or 3 suits. I need to start telling people how to do this. You need to stop, that's just my thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want people to think about you differently, dress differently. If you want to be respected, say yes, sir, yes, ma'am to everybody you meet. Everybody. Until they tell you, don't call me sir, don't call me ma'am. Okay. I'll call you what you want. But anyway, I love you guys. I think I ran my mouth enough. Share this video with your friends. Also get my book, Beating Black and Blue, Being a Black Cop in America Under Siege. I'm incredibly proud of that book. I really am. I'm incredibly proud of the accomplishment. Last night, actually at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I had added the part in the book right before the deadline. I had added the part in the book about policing in America not being from slave catching. That is a myth. Policing in America in the northern states, or a form of policing, existed way before that. And slave patrols were a part of policing methods in the South. Why? Because their economic interest was slaves. In the North, the economic interest was shipping and industry that they used to protect, that they needed to have, kind of like a law enforcement to protect. And even during the Civil War, the military took place of the slave patrol police, which are people talking about military is from slave patrols? The foundation of the military is from slave patrols? No, they're not. These people are lying. There was slave patrols in this country, which was 100 years after the first formulation of somewhat of a policing of people, which started in Boston. 100 years later or so, you see slave patrols. And this is in the 1600s, and in the 1700s, you see slave patrols. The early 1700s. They believe the first sign was like 1703. So it wasn't built on slave patrols. And then policing in America today, don't look nothing like policing in America during slave patrols and all these other functional, law enforcement agencies that they had. It's a totally different. And in my book, I give the analogy of slave patrols to modern police is the same idea that Christians believe monkeys and humans. Like, yeah, monkeys have similarities to humans. But where is the transition point? Monkeys and humans did not evolve from each other. That's what Christians believe. Monkeys are monkeys and humans are humans. These are two evolutionary beings. This came from a total different stock than this did. And that's the same way policing in America is. The American policing was created and visualized in its own form, in its own image. It had nothing to do with slave patrols. It had nothing to do with that. It was a total revisionary sense of law enforcement in the country, became professionalized, and it was a whole nother genre than slave patrols. Police don't, maybe Border Patrol is probably more of a slave patrol or whatever, which I still don't think that's even near slave patrols. It's not policing. That's not policing. Slave patrols have nothing to do with policing. Slave patrols were just going around making sure slaves didn't escape. That has nothing to do with law enforcement. Where does law enforcement officers make sure people don't escape? Maybe at the prison, but you're talking about the municipal police? They ain't got nothing to do with people escaping. It has everything to do with law and order. It has nothing to do with slaves escaping off plantations, which is more of a security force, which is more like private security. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. Wasn't even publicly funded. It wasn't publicly funded. All of it was privately funded and volunteer. Publicly funded law enforcement was in the North. Boston had the first publicly funded law enforcement agency, and I think it was the early 19th century. So I wrote that in the book. So you can have an argument for these brain dead people that say, this came technically from slave patrols. Shut the front door. Shut the front door. People got policing from the northeast region. Policing was established there, and everybody else began to adopt law enforcement from that perspective. A publicly funded, organized group of men and women who upheld the Constitution and laws that matriculated down to all of the other states. The policing model that we see today have nothing to do with slave patrols. All right, so I added that in the book. I had to add the part about Chauvin because this is, I would hate for you to get a book, several months from now because it's available for pre-order. I hate you to get a book several months now, and we didn't even talk about Chauvin. So I had to talk about Chauvin. I had to add in the part where, the case is up for appeal because it was incredibly unfair, in my personal opinion. So had to add a couple things. Submitted it last night. I know that turned into a whole shenanigans, but I had to trying to look at these comments. I thought I saw something that was interesting. But anyway, let me get up off here. Y'all can see. So y'all can see. Get up off here so you can watch the rest of this video. Let's see. Trying to see what y'all saying. I thought somebody said free Chauvin. All right. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I had